Welcome to Flåm. Flåm is one of the most popular destinations in the Norwegian fjords, and it is not hard to see why. It's a little bit damp today, but I've been to Flåm several times, so I've put together this highlights video, some of it in the sunshine, some of it in the winter, and some of it today on this damp, gloomy day, which is really typical for the Norwegian fjords. There's so much to see and do in this fjords destination. I hope you enjoy.
Flåm is a popular tourist village deep within the Norwegian fjords. How deep? Well, let's start by putting Flåm on a map, as its geography helps to explain its appeal. The village is located in the Fjord region of the West Norwegian fjords. The Fjord is easy to find on a map, as it's Norway's longest fjord. Flåm is located on a narrow branch fjord known as the Aurlandsfjord, which is part of the fjord region protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Despite this remote location and population of just a few hundred people, Flåm attracts huge numbers of tourists every day of the year, especially in the summer season. Why? Two reasons. Its deep water location means it's one of Norway's most popular cruise ship ports. And of course, there's the Flåm Railway, which means Flåm is, relatively speaking, easy to get to from Oslo and Bergen compared with many other fjord destinations. Also, for drivers, Flåm is on the E16 road that runs between Oslo and Bergen. In many ways, Flåm is the archetypal Norwegian fjord village. The Aurlandsfjord is spectacular no matter when you visit, as is the mountainous scenery surrounding the village. Meanwhile, the village itself has the shops, cafes, restaurants, and accommodations that visitors need. The best times to visit Flåm. Of course, it's this ease of transport that means Flåm is popular. In the summer, it can get uncomfortably busy, especially when there is a large cruise ship in port. But that's also peak time for things to do. If you are planning a summer visit, I highly recommend checking out the cruise calendar on the website of Flåm Port. This will tell you if a cruise ship is due in port that day, together with the passenger capacity. Although bear in mind that that is the maximum capacity and not necessarily the number of people that will be on board, it still gives you an idea of what to expect. My advice, if there is a mega ship due in that day or perhaps two smaller ships, choose to visit on a different day if you can, or if not, make any bookings well in advance. If you're on a cruise ship, it's still worth checking to see if there's any other ships due in that day, as ships can anchor in the fjord as well as dock. Visiting the village outside the high season can be wonderful, but you'll need to plan more carefully. Be sure of the timetables and tickets for the railway and any sightseeing trips you're hoping to take. The Flåm Railway. This remarkable railway regularly tops lists of the world's most beautiful railway journeys. The one-way trip from Myrdal on the Bergen line down to Flåm takes just under 1 hour. During the journey, the train twists and turns, travels over bridges and through tunnels as the train descends more than 800 metres through the Flåm Valley at an average 5% gradient. While visitors from the cities will take the train down and back up, most people visiting Flåm by ship or car will take the train up and then straight back down to Flåm. The train carriages are old and of course there is limited window space, but there are good views from both sides of the carriage at different points in the journey. As primarily a tourist route nowadays, scenic commentary is provided in different languages throughout the trip. The train also stops to allow photographs at the Kjosfossen waterfall, which in winter is entirely frozen over. It's quite the sight indeed. The Flåm Railway opened in 1940. How on earth it was ever built in the days before computer-aided engineering will surely top your list of questions as you trundle through the lush valley. Even if time is tight, I'd encourage you to call into the Flåm Railway Museum by the train station in Flåm village to learn more about how this remarkable railway was built. Exhibitions include an authentic EL9 locomotive and many black and white photographs documenting the time of the work. You'll find the museum inside the yellow building at the station, and you have to walk through a gift shop to get there. I highly recommend booking tickets for the railway as early as you can. Don't leave it until the day, as services are limited even in the summer, and they are frequently sold out, sometimes weeks in advance. If you're travelling on a cruise ship, I recommend booking independently to save money, but your cruise will likely have availability on an organised excursion, even when the train is otherwise sold out. However, this way you'll end up paying a lot more for essentially the same experience. Fjord sightseeing. The Fjord is part of the West Norwegian Fjords UNESCO World Heritage Site. Just 250 metres wide at its narrowest point, with towering mountains to both sides, the Fjord is one of the most photogenic Norwegian fjords. UNESCO said, numerous waterfalls and free-flowing rivers, deciduous and coniferous woodlands and forests, glacial lakes, glaciers, rugged mountains, and a range of other natural attributes combine towards making the Fjord among the most scenically outstanding landscapes in the world. From May to September, a popular 2-hour sightseeing cruise operates along the Aurlandsfjord and Fjord from Flåm to Gudvangen. All electric powered passenger ferries have been used on the route for several years now. You can come back on the same boat or take a bus shuttle to reduce the overall time. If you are travelling independently, and especially if you're staying overnight, choose an early or late ferry in order to avoid or at least minimise the crowds from cruise ships and other organised tours. Other fjord sightseeing tours are available, including a rib boat tour, perfect for those who want to get up close to some of the highlights and have some fun. For an even more intimate experience, how about fjord sightseeing by kayak? Exploring this incredible scenery with just the splash of your paddle and the call of the birds will take you closer to nature than you ever thought possible. Guided tours are available, as is kayak rental for the keen independent traveller. Double kayaks are also available for couples and families. Things to do in Flåm. If you need to get away from the crowds in the port, the riverside walk to the residential part of the village and to Flåm Church is a pleasant experience, especially on a sunny day. The postcard-worthy 17th century church is about a 3-kilometre walk from the waterfront. Along the way, you'll bump into a handful of locals as you get to see a rural Norwegian village up close. You might also see long-distance walkers or people cycling down through the valley. Although at first glance it might resemble a Norwegian stave church, Flåm Church is actually much newer. That being said, it's still more than 350 years old. The brown wooden church was built in a long church design in 1670 by master builder Magne Essen. The church of today is mostly the original, although there were some improvements made in the early 20th century. Inside, this is one of Norway's best illustrated churches. It's well worth a look inside if the church is open, and it usually is on most days in the summer, especially when there is a ship in port. About halfway along the route to the church, cross the bridge and you'll find the trailhead for the walk to the waterfall Brekkefossen. It's steep in parts, so be careful. The waterfall is impressive, but so is the view back down the valley to the village and fjord beyond. Located on the hillside immediately behind and above the Fredheim Hotel, the Fredheim Cultural Park is a great choice if you want to take a walk in nature without straying too far from the port. Back in the port area, the liveliest spot in the village is the Norse-themed brewpub Flåmsbrygga from local craft brewery Ager. Named after the seafaring Norse creature, Ager have created an atmospheric brewpub centred around a fire pit. Other highlights in the port area include the beach near the kayak rental hut and the waterfront walk on the other side of the fjord. If you're short on time or walking doesn't come easy for you, there are other options. Bike rental is popular, and e-bikes in particular are a great option for exploring the port quickly at your leisure. There's also a sightseeing road train which loops around Flåm. This is always popular on busy days, so get there early if you're keen to secure a place. Unlike some fjord destinations, Flåm is absolutely a year-round destination. Things are much quieter in the low season, of course, but there are still a few railway departures every day, for example. As I already mentioned, Flåm is one of Norway's most popular cruise ports. I think it's pretty easy to understand why. Small ships and some of the world's biggest ships call into Flåm throughout the year, especially in the summer. Check out this video next to see what it's like to visit Flåm and other destinations in the Norwegian fjords on a very large cruise ship. Thanks for watching.